Jose Altuve, you bring back George Springer, you put him with Michael Brantley, you put him with the rest of those guys in that lineup, all the pressure's off, guys. Jordan Alvarez can just sit there and swing the damn bat. That's what you want your kids to do, right? So watch out for Houston, even more so than you are right now, okay? So, let's break down the Central. 12 homers, 38 RBIs. Great numbers for anybody, George. But phenomenal numbers out of your catcher. I'll tell you, I was sitting on him, and I had him on the bench because I have my boy Contreras early in the year. And you know, I was able to move Contreras because I wanted to play Chirino so damn bad. And it's paid off for me. I ended up flipping him for David Dahl. And I really do think that it was a really smart move because Chirinos was sitting on the bench. Now I'm playing him, okay? So, anyway, let's move on to the AL Central, okay? I'm going to work from the bottom up. So let's talk about these, air quotes, bottom feeder teams because they're interesting. You know, clearly, if you look at the Central, it's Minnesota and everyone else, right? But there's more there. There's more there. So let's talk about it. I'm going to start with Detroit because I'm weird. But no, I think it's a valid point. You talk about these teams at the bottom, and there's no doubt about it, they're really bad, right? But let's talk about the positives. Why should I care about Detroit? They stink. Here's the thing. If I'm the Tigers, I'm going out and I'm trying to move anybody worth value at the trade deadline. Nick Castellanos, Matt Boyd, Shane Green, anyone that anyone wants on that major league team, give me someone serviceable, I'm taking them. Because fact of the matter is, these two pitchers that Detroit has down in the minor leagues are both aces, okay? You hear everybody talk about Casey Mize. And they're legitimate. Casey Mize is really good. But I'm going to start with a guy no one talks about. Guys, how about Matt Manning? Matt Manning is in Double-A Erie, okay? So a lot of people have compared his path to that of Paddock. So they're saying that he could get called up from Double-A. I think that, why not? What are you playing for in Detroit? Bring this kid up. In Double-A Erie, again, the record's not important because you don't know what's fielding, but he's 5-4, but he's got a 2.70 ERA. He's got 76.2 innings pitched. He's got 91 Ks and a .95 whip. Okay? That's elite strikeout numbers. Those are elite strikeout numbers. You might say, okay, whatever, he's pitching against Double-A guys. Who cares? So, let's talk about this. So, in four of his last 5 starts for the Double-A Erie C Wolves, Biscuits, whatever the hell they are. Who cares? He has had, so his last outing, it was maybe not his best outing. He only had 6 swinging strikes. The one before that, he had 11 swinging strikes, 15 swinging strikes, 16 swinging strikes, 19 swinging strikes. Guys, this guy has a put-away pitch as my point, okay? That tells me he can pitch in the majors. That tells me he's going to be able to come up and be effective with the stuff that he has. Now, the other indicator for me is you look at his last 6 or 7 starts. So I'll go back to May 11th. 93 pitches. 97 pitches. 96 pitches. 99 pitches. 95 pitches. He went 109 pitches on June 8th, guys. And then down to 87 pitches last outing. This guy is ready. They are seeing if this guy can pitch at the major league level, okay? He's passing the test, okay? He has given up only 3 earned runs twice in the last month. And he's held teams scoreless twice. Okay? So, George, you're trying to get me off on a tangent. I am going to talk about Josh Bell. Anyway, I'm going to finish up with Manning real quick. Matt Manning could be one of these call-ups here in this next month or so. Everybody's going to talk about Casey Mize. Matt Manning's the guy who might be pitching and might be able to help your fantasy team down the stretch, okay? George is hijacking my show. I got to talk about Josh Bell for a second. Thanks, George. Josh Bell just hit his 20th homer. Having a great year. So, George, here's a list of guys who've had 48-plus extra base hits through their first 70 games. All time. Okay? All time. 1959, Henry Aaron, Hammer and Hank had 49 through his first 70 games. Didn't happen again. 1959. George, do you remember that? I kid. Friendly kid. I'm sure you do, actually. So 59 had happened. Hammer and Hank. In 1970, Johnny Bench did it. He had 49. Then it didn't happen again until 1994. Ken Griffey did it with 48. How about 2 years later, Edgar Martinez had 55. Again, this is extra base hits through 70 games. Then it didn't happen again. It happened twice in 2001. Todd Helton had 50. And Barry Bonds had 49. In 2016, Big Papi did it. He had 48. And in 2019, guys, Josh Bell has 48 extra base hits. So that's since 1959. 8 times it's happened. Pretty impressive, right? So anyway, a little off topic, but I'm glad you brought that up. George says the Milwaukee Braves won the pennant in 57 and 58. All right, so back on task, back on track. Casey Mize, we all know about Casey Mize. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on him, but what I do want to tell you, with Casey Mize, this guy's polished. Okay, this guy's really polished. He's 8-0 at Erie. He's got a 0.92 ERA. He's got 78 innings pitched, 75 Ks. So he's less of a strikeout artist, but still very serviceable. Okay, here's the difference for me between Mize and Manning. You look at his pitch count. Okay, so last outing he had just 22, which I think they're doing that. Calculate. I think the rest of these guys, 22 last time out, but before that, his last 5 starts before that, he had 93, 86, 89, 89, 91, and 92. So they got him up to the 90 pitch limit. Okay? Arnie, thanks for joining me, brother. Just talking about Casey Mize. So the other impressive thing about Mize is since he got called up to Double-A, he's not giving up more than 2 earned runs. Okay? In 8 starts, it looks like, 8 or 9 starts, he's given up less than 2 earned runs or less in every outing. So he is dominating this level of competition. I think at bare minimum, you see him jump to Triple-A. Here's what I think happens. I think Mize goes to Triple-A first. And then I think Manning goes to the majors shortly thereafter. So, just my 2 cents. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before. But that's my take on it, okay? So Kansas City, the other bottom feeder I do want to talk about because I do think it's interesting. So unlike Detroit, where you got your talent in the minors, Kansas City's talent is squarely in the major leagues. They've got a ton of offense. You look at guys like, okay, here's the thing. Hunter Dozier, 314, 11 homers, 28 years old. Whit Merrifield, 302, 11 stolen bases, 30. He's the vet. He's your leader. Your kid, your stud, Adalberto Mondesi, is hitting as a 24-year-old, guys. People forget, Mondesi is a 24-year-old. He has 26 stolen bases and is hitting 272 with 6 home runs. He's 24. And then lastly, here's the last guy of this group that's having a year. How about Jorge Soler? Jorge Soler is hitting 244 with 8. He hit his 19th homer last night. Talk about him shortening his swing. He looks like he looks like the player that the Cubs had up during their stretch run in 2015. I don't know where he's been hiding, but Jorge Soler looks like a stud. I gotta move. It's 7:42. Arnie, is Lenny on at 9 or 8? Because if not, I might go over again. It's just one of those things. You prepare for these things. You worry about not having enough time or enough stuff. I got too much stuff. I got to talk about these guys. Let's talk about the White Sox. The White Sox, excuse me. I'm a Cubs fan. I'm allowed to say that. I'm going backwards, forwards, okay? The White Sox, guys, are quite the formidable team because they're so young, right? Let's talk about this, though, from a perspective of overall, okay? So the White Sox, 34-36. They're 12 and a half games back. They're probably not realistically in this. They are fighting for a wild card spot, okay? And fact of the matter is the resurgence of a couple of these guys have really kind of made it interesting to see what they'll do. They've got a couple guys that are borderline ready to come up. But we'll see how they treat that. They could add from the farm system as the stretch run comes. But you know, why they're able to do that, let's talk about these guys. How about, first and foremost, let's talk about, I'm an offensive guy, let's talk about Yoan Moncada. Yoan Moncada is second on the team with 294, okay? He is having his best year with 12 homers, second on the team, 39 RBIs, second on the team. It's really pretty cool to see. Awesome. Thank you, Arnie. It's really cool to see what's going on with Yoan Moncada because he's just kind of figured it out. It's taken him a little bit of time. He's had to learn at the major league level, but here he is, guys. He's taken over as the leader of this team, in my humble opinion. There's a lot of things to like about what he is doing, okay? The other part of that is Timmy Anderson. Timmy Anderson, 315, it is really having a good year, okay? He kills right-handed pitching. He's batting 328 against righties. 328 against righties with 8 homers and 25 RBIs. Here's a guy, people don't like his flamboyant attitude. You know, I personally love it. I think that he's just having fun out there. And I don't see anything wrong with that, okay? So Timmy Anderson and Yoan Moncada are the offensive backbone to this team in helping to bring along some of these young players, like a Luis Robert, like an Eloy Jimenez. Eloy Jimenez is slowly picking up steam, guys. You look at what he's doing, and you know, there's a lot to like here. Maybe you can get a guy who's sleeping. I doubt it, because he's one of those guys who has a cult following. He's only hitting 247 with 11 homers. But if you look at what he's done over the last couple weeks, and again, this is for me not having time to prepare. I'm having to pull it up, so bear with me for a second. Eloy Jimenez is having a break. Since he's been back from injury, is really coming on, guys. So, all right. Let's go from May 20th. From May 20th to today's date, 253 with 8 homers. Okay? 8 of his 11 homers he's hit in the last 25 games. Lenny Melnick still calls him a better prospect than Vladimir Guerrero, and I don't think he's full of it. Okay?